Hey everybody, it's Robin Da Vinci, the Money Lady, and welcome. And I'd like to bring up the topic of the BOI, and it's called FinCEN and BOI. And at one point during the last administration, it was a requirement of all small businesses to basically sign up with what would be an FBI program in order for the government to understand what kind of small business you have. And at first I thought that it was a rather innocuous request and no big deal. But I thought to myself, I'm pretty much not real critical of the government, but it felt like a little bit of government overreach for me to have to answer to FinCEN about who I am and, my driver's license and all my ID and everything. And here's why I thought it was overreach. Because I have an entity with the state of California, and the state of California has all my information. And any of my clients in the past who had entities, they mostly had California entities. And when you sign up for an entity, you give them all that information. So I said to myself, I said, can't FinCEN go to the state of California and then just draw on my information? My information is certainly public record because when you have a business, it's publicly known. I have to keep up my entity, as do other clients and people that have an entity. You have to go in and you have to show, who you are, where you live. They have your address, they have your ID, they have all these things. So I thought, why in the world would I need to do it again for another government agency when indeed I've already registered with my own state? So I think that's the issue. And I have just read again that they've said, no, you don't have to do this. You don't have to fill this out. You can look it up if you want, BOI. You don't have to do this if you don't want, and there won't be fines. What they were threatening before, believe it or not, was a initial $500 and something fine, and then fines up to $10,000 if you didn't register. And I think even jail time was threatened on one of the blogs that I read or one of the articles that I was looking into. Well, I'm normally pretty good at thinking, it's okay to be transparent, but I am transparent. So twice it was struck down as unconstitutional, and I actually agree with that. I actually agree that it's unconstitutional. And now it's just been put aside and it's voluntary and you can do it if you want. And I think the new ruling is that please get it done by January 1st, 2026, but it's voluntary, especially if your business was established prior to January 1st, 2024. So hear me clear. If your business was established prior to January 1st, 2024, your new deadline would be January 1st, 2026. But what they're looking for really is money laundering. How many businesses are set up to move money to the Caymans, to launder money, to be illegal or illicit? And I thought, maybe going forward, what the federal government should do is just have a notice if someone opens a business in a state and they're just notified. If indeed money laundering is the thing and moving money around through companies and not paying taxes, that kind of actually makes me want to hold my nose, because we do have corporations in this country that are lying about their income. We have to be transparent. But if we're not going to be, don't go after small businesses. And when I say that, go after small businesses, I mean the legitimate ones, the ones that are trying to make ends meet, the ones that are recorded with their state, the ones that are doing everything correctly, filing their tax returns, paying their employees, paying their payroll tax. Those are the people that should be left alone. Now, if you suspect that someone's opened a business and they're laundering money through it, be specific, but don't go fishing into legitimate businesses. Now, people will say, oh, Robin, what side of the issue do you usually stand on? I stand on the side of fairness and transparency. That's what I stand on the side of. So I may be on occasion fiscally conservative, but socially liberal. That's who I am. But I don't like waste, but I don't like when people do things that are unnecessary and go after legitimate people. And it seems to me, in the current situation we're in, that you just go after everybody and you hope the good fall out and somehow manage and the bad go away. That is not the way to do any of this. The way to do this is systematically, in an organized manner, one step at a time, one thing at a time, instead of blowing smoke at everybody and wondering what's going to happen. It scares people. And then what do? The average person retreats and doesn't pay attention. And I think that's what's going on now. If you don't pay attention, things are going to come and go right under your nose and you're not going to know, because you are so overwhelmed by all this BS being thrown at you that you don't know what to do. So I really delved into this BOI situation and said, you know what? I don't want a $10,000 fine, but that is specifically government overreach. I'm legit. Go to my state and find out how legit I am. Do not come to me again and say you need to sign up with somebody else, because I don't need to. And all of you legitimate business owners out there, I know some of you already did your BOIs, and I'm sure you have nothing to lose by doing them. I certainly don't. But sometimes you just have to analyze what the hell you're doing. And this particular instance, I objected to the intrusion into my company. So anyway, that's enough on that topic, but I welcome your responses and I will answer them in a video. I welcome your dissent or your agreement on this issue. I know what some people are going to say. They're going to go, well, if you have nothing to hide, why don't you fill it out? Well, I have nothing to hide, but the state I live in already knows all that information. Go ask the state. That's my response. So anyway, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. That's my rant for today. No BOIs. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe.